Looks like we are live. I've been sitting here for about the last 5-10 minutes trying to figure out what I forgot. I'm sure that will become apparent shortly. I have no idea what it is yet. I'm going to wait before we really get started to make sure that audio is coming through. I'm just going to sit here awkwardly. Something's loading now. Now it shows live for 6 seconds. Just going to wait here for a second. I guess I should ramble just so I can make sure you guys could hear me if it is audio coming out. There's always a delay, so I sit and talk and then have to wait for the actual chat. And actually, chat has been slow lately. Anyway, let's just refresh this in case anyone's yelling at me. The audio is not working. It looks on my end like it is, but I don't know. Yeah, still not sure. Wait. Yeah, okay. It looks like I just heard it. It's on and loud. Okay, so for today, I am working on, this is Lux Archival, and just for transparency, this paper was provided to me by Brush and Pencil to try out, which I loved, and I will be buying more for myself, but just so you guys know, I didn't personally pay for this batch myself. This one's a 16 by 20 inch. The Lux Archival paper, if you're, and I'm not otherwise sponsored, or they don't, didn't ask me to tell you more about them or continue telling you about them. I'm just going to tell you because it's amazing. So if you know, I had used in the past UArt, and then my preference before, besides UArt was kind of my backup paper. Pro Art Panels, I guess it was just, no, it was from Pro Art Panels. What was the name of it? Why is my brain shutting down? I don't know. Point is, the paper that I was previously using, as it turned out, the back of it was not actually acid-free. The front was. But because the back is touching the front, over time, that could potentially be an issue. How much time? We don't know. 50 years, 100 years, 2 years? Not a clue. Probably not 2 years, or people would have complained by now. But that was a problem. So the Lux Archival sanded paper solved that for us, completely acid-free. It's 100% cotton, 140 pounds. This stuff is amazing. You can get this from brushandpencil.com. I think you can get it from Dick Blick now. It's available all over the world in different areas. It's still coming out in other areas that don't have it yet. But anyway, if you contact Brush and Pencil, they can tell you wherever it's from. So that is the paper that I'm working on. This paper, besides the fact that it's actually acid-free on the back as well, it's amazing. I feel like I don't have as much product fall off, whether it be the pencils or the pan pastels. I love it. I'm like, we're getting married. So this stuff is seriously amazing. So I want to throw that out there, but but just to be clear, again, this was provided to me by them, but it's not like a paid promotion otherwise or anything like that. So there you go. Same thing actually for pan pastels in this one. I guess this is a whole bunch of, I got to throw this out there before we start. Pan pastels were provided to me by Pan Pastels a couple years ago to try. Turns out I love them. The funny thing is, usually you'll know if I like a product if I go and buy more. So like with the Derwent Lightfast, I've got to go buy some more of those pencils. The Inktense, I went and bought a whole bunch of white and black right after I used them for the first time. I was like, these are amazing. I went and bought them. Like if I'm willing to spend my own money on it, I like it. The only reason that I have not done that with the Pan Pastels is I'm pointing at them. I forget that this isn't on camera right now. Pan Pastels here. We'll hold them up like this. I don't need them. Or need to. There's 20 colors in this set that just your basic 20 set. I can mix anything I need from here. I mean, if there was a certain color I was going to use a ton of, yeah, I would just go buy it. But these are really cool because of the way you can mix them, very similar to paint. And I can get my background done very, very quickly. These things are amazing. But again, these were provided to me by Pan Pastels. I did not buy these myself. I did, however, like them enough to go and buy a crap ton of my soft tool blending tools for this. Now you can do this project in any medium you want. You don't need to have the same colors. You don't even need to have the same medium. So same paper, whatever you want to use, you can follow along with. It is no problem. So I think that is it for my disclaimers there. I look professional today, Casey. Thanks. Probably because I'm wearing a sweater over my tank tops. Usually I just wear the tank tops. Elizabeth said, "Hi, you are my morning fix." Oh, thanks. Let's see. Okay, so with this guy, now you can see on the paper, I marked out, the paper itself is a 16 by 20. I marked it out to an 11 by 14. From here to here, here, and here are the 11 by 14 areas. I knew based off this reference photo, it came from Pixabay, there were a few things I was going to change. One, if you look, and you can see the photo there, his back leg is he's sitting kind of He's being a lazy kitten. He's sitting kind of funny, but his front leg is behind his back leg. And it's a little bit weird. And this is one of the times as an artist, your artistic skills are going to come in that you may choose if someone's having you do a photo. Like people will ask, well, what's the point of photorealism if you already have a photo? Well, sometimes the photo's like this and there's something that you may want to adjust to improve on it. And this is one of those times for me. One is that I didn't like the positioning of the leg. So I'm going to move that leg in front and his hind leg back. You're not even going to see that. The other thing that I'm not in love with on this, typically when you're doing portraits of animals or people, don't just barely cut off the feet. So this guy's sitting, it looks like he's in a little cat bed or a blanket, I'm not sure which, but the way that it's cropped, this line here is where that photo is cropped and it cuts off his feet completely. Does it make it easier for you as an artist? Yeah, because you don't have to draw feet. Feet can be difficult. However, the finished result, I don't think I would like as much. So I've sketched in where I want his little big fluffy kitten feet to be here and the back foot. And I think what I'm going to do on mine, I'm going to change my background. I'm not going to leave the white background. I'm going to do a purple, like night sky type background. I'm going to make this feel a little bit more like a Halloween theme. And I think I'm going to put him sitting in some grass. So we'll throw a few bits of grass in there. And one of the things I love so much about sanded paper, if I were working on hot press watercolor paper, I need to have all that stuff planned out before I start adding color. If I change my mind later on, it's very hard with colored pencil to go over something and make those adjustments. On sanded paper, that's the one time or first time working on sanded paper that I felt I could do stuff that was more surreal. I did some whales with powder blender and colored pencil on sanded paper a couple of years ago. And it was the first time I felt I could really do that with colored pencil because I can easily adjust stuff. And when I do surreal stuff, I adjust stuff constantly changing my mind. So here, this is one of the things that's so nice with working on the sanded paper. I drew out the blanket and then thought, I don't like it. I'm going to change it. The funny thing is that also means I'm probably going to pull my paper down. I'm glad that I cropped it the way it did because I'm going to pull the grass down a little bit further just so we've got a nicer overall balance of the whole piece. So those are some of the things I'm going to do. Beth asked, how do I get such an accurate sketch? In this case, I traced it and then, well, not the feet. I had to come up with that from my head. I don't have a reference for that, but I traced it just to save time. Normally, to get an accurate sketch, I practice sketching a lot. I can sketch freehand just as well as I can trace it. You're never going to notice the difference other than one took a lot less time. So practice. I mean, if you're struggling with your freehanding and getting it to look accurate, you're going to practice. And another thing you can do to improve your freehanding skills is trace. And I know that seems like backwards, but what happens when you trace something, when you're first starting to draw, something that is very common is our brain is like, I know what an eye looks like. I know what a face looks like. I'm good. I got this. We don't. And our brain tries to take over instead of our eyes that should be looking at that reference photo and drawing what we see. So if you force yourself to trace something a few times and then freehand it, you're forcing your brain to acknowledge information that it was trying to override itself. So tracing is a good way to improve your drawing skills, but the goal is not to forever have to trace. If all you can do is trace, when you get into the actual artwork, it's obvious. I mean, here, I need feet. There's no feet. I can't trace feet. There are none in the photo. So being able to know how to draw is very important, but tracing is one of the ways that can help speed that process along for you. But you have to practice tracing and freehanding. You can't just practice tracing. You have to freehand too in order to strengthen that skill. A couple of questions we'll go through before we get started here. Erica said, which Pan Pastel 20 set is that? I bought the landscape set. It has a lot of tints and shades, which messes me up when trying to mix colors. I don't know which set this was. I mean, I don't know if you guys won't fall out, right? If you can see the colors accurately there that came in mine. I'm not sure what set. It's just kind of your basic. You've got your primary colors. You've got white, black, gray, brown, a few different yellows and oranges. I can read here. This may help. I'll read off some of the names in mine. I've got permanent red, red iron oxide, violet, titanium white, black, neutral gray, raw umber, magenta, burnt sienna. Which one's magenta? Because I call everything magenta. Burnt sienna, orange, dairy-lied yellow, yellow ochre, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, turquoise, phthalo green, permanent green, chromium oxide green, bright yellow green, and Hansa yellow. So that gives you an idea of, if you're looking for the exact set I have, there you go. Let's see. Kathleen said, loving the new lav mic. Audio is awesome. Yay! And the new one, because so this one is like a cheaper version that I just had to try with my cell phone and never actually used it. But the new one, the actual Rode one, comes later today. So hopefully that will improve even more. And if it doesn't, we'll just go back to this one. But thanks. Yay. Let's see. Are you going to do the watercolor pencil comparison at some point? I need to. Hi, Anusha from India. Tallulah said, looking forward to this. Need all the help I can get with fur, and I'm a cat lady, so win-win. Glad to see you're using Lux Archival. I got it as soon as I could, but only used it once. Yeah, this stuff is amazing. Couple more questions here. Gypsy Heart said, with Pan Pastels, there are only 20, are those 20 colors technically all the wait, I'm not reading that right. With Pan Pastels, there are only those 20 colors technically. All the colors are those with white, black, and more black added. Oh, I didn't know that. The metallics, they sell those mediums to mix your own. Oh, that is interesting. Rhonda said, I just completed my first watercolor piece, 2 of the 3 roses. Would like your critique. I cannot find where to send it. I don't do the critiques where you send it in like that anymore at all. So I actually need to make sure that's pulled off my website. But you can, when I announce when I do critiques, the group critiques, it's either going to be in our Facebook group. I rotate. Sometimes it's from Facebook, sometimes it's from MeWe, our MeWe group, and sometimes it's from Patreon. So I rotate through that. But you can post your work over at our art group on either MeWe or Facebook and ask for advice or critiques from others. And there's some amazing artists over there that can give you some advice. But you have to let people know that you're actually looking for advice. Otherwise, you'll just hear that your work is pretty. Okay. So I'm going to be using my soft tools. That is this guy here, and he has this little cover over it. Now these covers, people ask how to clean it. You can wipe it off in between colors. Like I use a piece of Viva paper towel. It's very cloth-like, so it works well for wiping these off, or an old t-shirt, but you're only going to do that so many times. These burn out fairly fast. So I like to have a whole bunch of them. Do I have them over here? I should. I might not. I don't know where they are. Oh, just to show you. I have this little thing full of covers. You want to get extra of the covers. The little palette knife looking things, the blue things, that's going to last you forever. But the covers you will go through pretty quickly. So make sure you get lots of those. Okay. What am I doing? Purples. Part of me is almost thinking, should I put a moon behind him? I could. Maybe not. Maybe I'll come back to the concept of a moon. So I'm just going to do a base of purple by itself first. And start blocking that in. You do not need to push very hard with this. If you push very hard, you'll actually burn through your soft tool pretty fast. So I don't need to really worry about brush strokes too much. None of that matters at this point. And I'm going to come through and get highlights and shadows later. Now, what we accomplished today, just to warn you, and this is really important to remember, it's going to be ugly. By the time we finish this live stream, pretty much everything we've done, except potentially the purple in the background, is not going to be nice to look at. You know, don't show your family. They're going to laugh at you. They'll be like, wow, good job. Usually you do better. This is definitely going to leave us at the ugly stage today because we're just blocking some stuff in. I don't think we're going to get to too much detail. So this is definitely going to be a multi-part piece because it's kind of complex. I was looking for something as usual that we would do in a single sitting, but I saw this photo and thought, nope, this needs to happen. We need to do a colored pencil Halloween piece. So I'm just going through there. Now I want to make sure whatever I plan to mat this at, I want to make sure that my color is a little bit over that edge so that none of the white of the paper shows through when I put the mat over it. Now this one I am going to have to custom mat though because I'm pulling it down probably a little bit lower than what I drew it out as. Caution Artist at Play said, I believe the set of pen pastels you have is called the painting set. That's the set I have, and those colors sound about right. Oh, good. That's helpful. Jamie said, go for the moon. LOL. Hi. Thank you for doing this, lady. I may do the moon. We may do that next time because I'll have to get a circle to draw. We'll see. We'll see where we get on that. The moon would be cute with the whole Halloween theme, though. It'll be weird because our lighting is then going to be really weird. The moon, I like using that more for when I do silhouette type stuff, but we'll see. So I'm just going to go over where the blanket was because I'm going to put the grass in. And I've got a phone call. No, See, I kept my number, my California number, so now when I get calls from California, I know it's spam. I'm not answering you, and I'm blocking you. Please don't leave messages telling me the IRS is trying to get a hold of me with a very strong, clearly you don't work in the US accent. It's kind of a dead giveaway. Let's see. Beth said, what pan pastel set do you recommend for someone who has never used them before and just starting out? I would get this one. This one's really, it's got all the colors I need. It's kind of amazing. If I go a little bit over my subject, it's not a huge deal. I mean, I want to attempt not to do that, but it's not the end of the world. If I do, it's very easy to cover up. But I don't know what the minimum colors you would need to start. I can't claim I'm that experienced with pan pastels, but this is an amazing set. I know, I have just felt like I had everything I needed out of it. I love the way that you can mix them. Again, don't care if I have brush strokes all over. I'm going to be blending over this later. Erica said, thank you for doing a multi-part live stream. Love more. Oh, that just scrolled. Where were we? Where did that go? Come back. There we go. Love more detailed art pieces than the simple ones, but absolutely love the sunflower tutorial though. Hoping you do another in Patreon. I'm going to. The sunflower, I definitely, I want to do that in acrylics for sure. And then, I don't know, there are a lot of mediums that I wanted to do that guy in. So we'll see what happens there. I think I'm going to be doing I've got to do another oil portrait. I actually have a commission. A friend asked me to do it, of another friend, which is going to be hilarious, but I don't want to mention names because I don't want it to get out to who the person is for. I doubt that person would be watching, but still, sorry, itchy nose. And then pan pastel. So this is a fun thing with pan pastels. If you get any on your fingers and you scratch your face, you end up with dots all over whatever that color was. But I've got to do that oil portrait, and I think I'm going to do that one as I'm going to do an acrylic underpainting since I'm currently doing an oil portrait. That way it would be a little bit different. But in between this oil portrait and the next one, I think I'm going to do a surreal acrylic piece because keep getting requests for surreal stuff. So I can get that one done kind of quickly, and then we'll do the oil portrait, or the oil over acrylic portrait, I should say, after that. I've had people ask for acrylic portraits as well, which I do need to do, but this one for what we're doing with it, and it'll be big. It'll be like a 24 by 30 inch. That one needs to have the oil over the top. It's actually going to be kind of a funny thing. Gypsy Heart said, didn't know the different sets either. I bought the full complete set and was like, oh, well, crap. I kind of wasted my money in my opinion. Oh, that sucks. Nina said, adding a moon messes up the lighting. Just call it surrealistic or say there was a mirror of campus. Yeah, that would work too. I mean, I'm not going for super realistic. So it's, well, sort of realistic. Detailed, yes. But as far as lighting, I'm not. I mean, I just turned it night, so it's already adjusted from what the reference photo is. And so talking about that, one of the things that will be changing is that the purples that I'm pulling in the background, I need to pull those into my subject too, so they feel like they're a part of the scene. So whatever color you do in your background, you've got to adjust your subject a bit so that they all go together and it doesn't look like they're cut out from the reference photo and stuck on this one. Also, that lighting looks blue. Hold on, let me see if I can adjust this. Nope, not that camera. This camera. Fix the white balance. In order to make it look purple, I have to make the paper look a little bit cream toned, which it's not. We may adjust this again later. We're going to go with, hold on. This, for some reason, when I start adding other colors, it may balance itself out better. Oh, so one of the things that's really nice, there we go. That looks better. Maybe the color saturation. One of the things that's really nice with the Luxe Archival too, it's not a cream paper. So right now it looks cream. It's not. This is like stark flat white. Like you can see my hand looks orange too. So just to make the purple look, we'll adjust this as we get going because this is not super accurate, but it's closer than it was. But the Lux Archival sanded paper, this is the only like true white sandpaper too, or sanded paper. So that's kind of cool. Jason said, Lisa, do you put fixative on pastel at the end of a project? Always. I am a firm believer, and I know other people don't agree with me on this. You know, do what you're comfortable with. I am an absolute firm believer in that because I've seen what happens over the years with pastels. They fall off the paper, and if you've not sealed them with anything, they fall off even faster. Like you'll see on the bottom of a mat where it just collects over the years. Even though you've dusted it off and all of that, and you put it behind glass, I want something that, some sort of fixative that's going to keep it there. So the one that I'm using for pastels is SpectraFix. This is the one, and I use this as I go too to help seal it down more, so I don't just use it at the end. But that's the product I use. I'm actually going to try today. I got one of the fine mist sprayers for this. Some of you guys recommended that, so we will see how that goes. Sergio said, and I get, going back to the fixative, I get why people don't use it because it does adjust. It will change your color saturation a bit or your contrast. Like it can make it look darker. Especially if you've got white. So the exception for me is if I have something that needs to stay true white and I spray it and it gets dark, I will go back over that with a white pastel that doesn't get sprayed on top of. But for the most part, I mean, at least as you're going along, I would definitely recommend, I have got to mute that phone. I would definitely recommend, hold on, there we go. Oh, I didn't mute it. I'm clearing everything out without muting the phone. I would recommend spraying at least while you're doing it to help it stay down as much as possible. Even if you don't spray it at the end, it would be better than nothing. Sergi said, hello, Lisa. Always lovely to see you in action. Now that a fair amount of time has passed of you using arches, would you say you like it better than the old Fabriano? I don't know if I'd say I like it better. I like it at least as much, but I'm not sure if I would say I like it better. Let's see, Samin, I'm pronouncing your name and I apologize, said, how do you put colored pencils on top of pan pastels? It comes out patchy or sketchy. I tried going really light and even on sanded papers. Something's going wrong there because it shouldn't come out sketchy or patchy. I'm not sure what's causing that. It sounds to me like you'd need to do some more experimenting. When you see artists working in a medium and they're not having the results you're doing, you definitely need to figure, I mean, obviously you're asking, so hoping I would know. I don't know why that's happening. It shouldn't be happening. So I'm wondering, do you not have enough pan pastels? Do you have too much pastels? Are you putting it on too hard? Are you pushing too hard? Are you not pushing hard enough? You need to experiment with all of those things and figure out what is going on different with yours so you can figure out how to fix that. I'm not sure. Now, to be fair, I'm not super experienced with pastels. I didn't use them for years, and even now I only use pan pastels. I've only done a few pieces with it, so I can't claim to be some amazing expert of all things pan pastels. So I don't know there. Maybe somebody else in the chat will have an idea of why that's happening to you. Oops, that's rolled too far. There we go. Irritated Papers, I love your username, said, can I same fixative for charcoal pencil? Yeah, this fixative, it says it's for pastel, chalk, pencil, charcoal, oil pastels, and colored pencil. So yeah, you can use SpectraFix on everything. Beth said, I absolutely love your live stream. So many great tips and art. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Kim said, hi, Lisa. Can I use regular pastels rather than pan pastel on sanded paper? You absolutely can. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the only shout outs I typically do are when people's moms are watching. I'll shout out to moms. I'm a dork. I don't know why. I think that's who I need to shout out, are people's moms. Or dads. Dads are good too. You can also do, they have bigger sponges. You could save time. Soft Tools has big ones too. This isn't so big that I feel the need to pull those out, but that is an option too that can save some time. Is it better to use wax or oil pencils to work with different media like watercolor or pastels? All of the pencils are a mixture of wax and oil, but as far as like which ones have higher wax content or higher oil content, it really doesn't matter. It depends on what look you're going for. They both are suitable. Make sure to do the Outlaw Lachri Fine Art. If it doesn't highlight my name in orange, I typically won't see the question. I mean, if I notice it, I'll answer, but usually I just won't even see it. So to avoid being ignored and thinking I'm being a jerk, do that. Jason said, my mom is still the best mom. Not possible. And you know how I know? Because my mom is the best mom. There's no way somebody else's mom can be the best mom if mine is. My mom would so be rolling her eyes at me right now if she knew I kept telling people, you know, like I kept insisting my mom was better than everyone else's. I'm sure I get more of a, Lisa, be nice. George said, oh, I thought you switched to 4 p.m. That's what my YouTube announcement said. Yeah, I screwed that up. I apologize. I don't know how I ended up with 3 p.m. Like, I genuinely have no idea why it said that. I mean, obviously, I'm guessing I hit a wrong button somewhere along the line, but I am not sure why it said that because I've never done no, I guess maybe I have, but I don't typically do 3 p.m. I haven't in many, many, many moons. Heather said, this looks like one of my studio assistants. Aw. I'd want a cat if they stayed kittens. They're so darn cute. Well, if they stayed kittens, didn't eat my plants, and my greyhounds wouldn't eat them. So, you know, too many factors involved and cats aren't a fit for me. But man, are cute. Kittens cute. Gypsy Heart said, no mom here with me, but whenever I start watching you, my 7-year-old daughter comes running when she hears you and snuggles and watches instantly. Aw. Okay, shout out to your 7-year-old daughter too. Amy said, thank you. Oh, wait, no, back to irritated paintbrush. This reference photo reminds me of my pet cat when he was little. He used to sleep on my palm. Oh. Amy said, thank you for the positive words on tracing. I had a mini Lisa rant during an art class and said, Lisa said so. Like they would know what I'm talking about. Tracing helped me so much. You know, I've been teaching for, gosh, since 1998. Oh, I think 99. A long freaking time. I've seen how this helps people. I've seen the difference. And I mean, the thing with students, not everybody learns the same. And I think that's an important thing, you know, to just be aware of. You have to figure out with any given student when they're struggling and they're not improving, okay, we need to try something else then. And that's where we started going into the tracing, where I'd have students that would come to class, they're like, I can't draw, I don't even want to draw, I don't enjoy it. And so I would draw things for them and then they would go ahead and be able to paint. But the funny thing with that, students started to learn to draw from painting what I drew. So they were improving. Then when I started making them trace, so no longer are you painting what I drew. I want you to trace it and then paint it. Oh my God, the difference was incredible. These people who were like, I can't draw, I don't even have interest in learning how to draw, all of a sudden they could draw. And their paintings improved because of it. So even if you trace, if you don't know how to draw, it shows in the finished work. They were learning to draw and that showed in their finished work. It was really cool to see. But so many people who are against tracing just don't know what it can and can't do for you. They think it does all the work and it doesn't. You can trace something and that does not mean your work is going to be any good. So it helps and it guides you along that path. But I've seen for years the difference. Oh, that's the blanket. I'm coming down further. The difference that it makes in artists learning to draw more quickly. It's pretty incredible. Let's see. Amy said, thank you. Oh, got that one. Kim said, I've used makeup sponges on graphite and they seem to work well. Have you tried them rather than soft tools on pastel? They're not big enough. The makeup ones, and I have some. Actually, they came with my brush and pencil kit. They work so good, but they're so tiny that I just use them in little areas. So usually when I'm using the pan pastels, I'm using them to block in large areas, and then I go back over with colored pencil for small stuff. So they just weren't a good fit for me for something like that. But they do work. They certainly work if they're the right size for you. Stephen Rogers Fine Art said, I came late. Do you prime your canvas board with gesso pumice for adhesion. So this is not a canvas or board. This is sanded paper. So this is going to be a little bit different. But if I were painting on like a canvas board or a canvas, it all comes. What I use from Frederick's is already pre-primed. The only time that I have to add gesso and then sand it down, I'm not doing it for adhesion. I'm doing it for smoothing out a canvas because it already came primed. I'll put a couple of coats of gesso, 2 to 3 coats, let it dry completely in between each coat, and then sand it with like a 220 something around there sandpaper to a smoother finish. And I do that on canvases like the Frederick's. I don't think you can see any of them. Oh, you can kind of see the water ocean one, the round one behind me there. That's a Frederick's Convexo canvas. I love them, but they have a little bit more tooth than what I like. So I can put a couple coats of gesso and then sand it. So I'm making it so it's not as like bumpy, adhesive, I guess, or how is abrasive is the reason that I do it. But normally, because of the canvases that I use, I don't really buy unprimed canvases ever. Casey said, okay, this is going to be worded very bad. I'm sorry. When you are working on graphite, how do you make one color that's very close to another stand out? The difference isn't huge. But okay, so this is where it's an interesting thing you bring up. Not all photos make for good black and white photos, so like all color photos, because sometimes a photographer will take a photo and they're basing the contrast from one thing to another on the color in the photo. But those colors may be a similar like value or hue to where it's like I'm not using the right words. How do I word this? It may be a green and a red, and that stands out in photo, or in color. But when you change it to black and white, they're so similar, it almost looks the same. So your job as an artist, you've got to switch. You've got to hype up that contrast. One of them needs to be lighter or darker if you need them to separate. That's very, very common. So yeah, that is why that happens. I'm going to add a bit of black to my purple for the bottom section. Let's darken that up, and I'll have it so it gets a little bit lighter as it goes up. Probably could have done the reverse. Doesn't really matter. I just want to have a fade there. So yeah, you've just as an artist got to make that adjustment. That's why usually if I'm going to do something in black and white, I know like I wanted to do a black and white portrait. I found a beautiful photo on Pixabay to use. I'll be doing that as a graphite piece after I do probably the oil paint. I've got a lot of portraits coming up. You guys have been requesting them, so we're doing a lot of them. But that one, the photographer knew what he was doing and his contrast and everything. I mean, the setup of this piece, the background, everything is wonderful. It's a guy sitting like at a table in a city or something. It's the lighting. Everything is so perfect. That if the photographer didn't know what he was doing and didn't have the contrast in a lot of these elements, it would not be as strong of a piece or everything about it, composition, everything's great on this photo, but it's not, if it was taken in color with somebody who was prioritizing the color to separate things versus the value, when you switch it into black and white, it's not necessarily going to look as good. So as an artist, that's where you come in and where people are like, well, what's the point of photorealism if you got a photo already? I'm going to make it better. I'm going to fix it so that it works for what I'm trying to do with it. But yeah, that's just something that you're going to have to adjust. And usually what I do let's say I have a photo that's in color that I want to make black and white. So I'll make it black and white, but I will have the color one there next to me too, so that I can tell, like, is there something that's supposed to separate here that I'm missing? Like I can tell it's off when it's in black and white, but I don't know why. When you look at it in color, it's like, oh, those two look the same, and it's not. I need to separate them. Let's see. Elizabeth said, I use texture fixative over the pastels and it added more tooth. Yes, that will do it. Jason said, how do you keep the work protected during the time that it's not worked on? So what I'll do on this one is get a big piece of glassine and just tape it over my board, and then I'll put the board, actually, it'll be over there somewhere, but I'll put that glassine to protect it. If it's an oil painting, like that oil painting that's still, that's technically mostly dry at this point, that sits on another easel somewhere else to dry. So it depends on the medium where I put it while it's being worked on. Rusty Spoon said, what is the best painting you have ever done? My favorite is probably the lion with the coral, or possibly a tie, if not better, are the sea turtles I recently did. I really like those sea turtles. And I can't even say it's that they're better as much as I like them better. Like I painted them both for me, but I love those sea turtles. They make me so happy. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Jamie. That is so sweet. Heather said, what are you putting outside the purple? That is black. Casey Said also with the Derwent, I'm going backwards right now. Derwent electric eraser, how do you use up all the eraser? I keep sliding mine out further, but the barrel doesn't grip it tight enough, so it just slips back down. I take a piece of masking tape and put it around the base of it and stick that back in so that it tightens it up. Let's see. Instagram, or Irritated Paintbrush said, I have noticed Instagram screwed up analytics for artists. The art posts are having less engagement, so many artists are complaining. What do you think? So I used to really pay attention to analytics on Facebook, well, Instagram I never did because I never switched mine to a business account because they're owned by Facebook. We know what Facebook did to business accounts. No, I'll keep that personal. I don't need my analytics that bad. So, because I'm not going to change anything anyway. But I'm a stubborn idiot. So I'm trying to wipe the black off this, but I think what I'm going to do right now is switch this over so I get the clean side for adding white. But yeah, I don't have any idea what my analytics look like. But as far as like, if they changed something, they probably did. Facebook owns Instagram. They're going to change everything to try to get you to pay money to advertise and do all that. And I won't do it because I don't like their business model for how they double dip. So here, you create the content, and instead of like YouTube, who pays creators to create content, Facebook's attitude is, we want you to pay us to advertise. We're gonna make money off your content by putting ads on it, but we also want you to pay us for people to see the content that we're then putting ads on. I don't like their business model, so I don't jump into that. But I never changed and maybe someday they'll make me, I don't know, but I never changed my Instagram into a business one, so I don't even know what my analytics are. I can't see them. Let's make some little poofy clouds. So, yeah, I don't know. And I don't get that much engagement on Instagram. I mean, I can definitely say that's true, but I don't even post on it that much anymore. Mostly I have been posting like random plant posts or live streams. I mean, my focus is definitely on YouTube. So let's see, I need another one to blend this a bit better. Let's see if this pulls stuff off. We're going to experiment a little. I'm going to grab one of my soft tools, the big spongy guy. Let's see if I can smooth this a bit. I may just end up pulling off. Just softening that out where it transitions from the purple up into, or the black and the purple. And there's nothing on, well, there is now just because it's dirty from picking up what I did, but I'm just getting rid of some of these strokes. So yeah, I don't really know what drama is going. I used to really keep up with all the social media stuff. I used to make videos talking about what was going on with the social media stuff. I don't have time for it, honestly. And maybe that's a bad business move, but my main thing is just like create more content. So yeah. You know, if you're going to do the clouds like I am, I want to let them fade into that background. Let the background color work for you here. Don't try to cover it completely. Hallie said, we adopted a three-legged stray kitten that showed up at our house. Once he started getting closer, we noticed that his nub has tiny little bean toes on it. We call him Stump. Oh my gosh, how cute. Let's see. Okay, now I can start going the other direction because I went backwards. Casey said, could I just revert the photo to black and white and make the color adjustments based on the difference in color? Yeah, I mean, well, you would adjust your values then on that. Ian said, hi, Lisa, have you ever tried the clear gesso to mimic sandpaper? I don't have sandpaper, but this seemed to work with colored pencil and pastel to add more tooth to the paper. I have not tried that. Well, no, that's not true. I didn't use clear gesso. I just used normal gesso, and I airbrushed it onto watercolor paper to turn it so I could use for a powder blender, and that did work. But it was a weird amount of work for, like, it's just so much easier to use sanded paper, but that did work. I airbrushed it on and did like the results I got. Anna said, what would you suggest for white highlights on top of colored pencil drawing since gel pen is not archival? Hands down, brush and pencils. I've got it right here. These two products. Colored pencil titanium white and colored pencil touch-up texture. You mix these two together and you can paint. I use a liner brush and you can paint on all the details you want. It's meant for colored pencil. So it is archival. It's wonderful and it adds more too. So let's say I wanted highlights that were really going to be yellow like stripes, but I can't get yellow stripes over the purple. You put the white on it like that and then put the yellow on top. It added tooth to it so you can work back over it. It's amazing. So yeah, that is the product that I use. If there was one product that I just can't live without when it comes to colored pencil, well, I guess it's technically two products, but it's that. That is like an absolute must-have for me. I love it so much. I don't know if I'm going to do a cloud because I'm kind of, or a moon, because I am really liking these cute little soft clouds. Just something out of, not super detailed. You can add details if you want. I think I'm going to leave mine soft. Richard said, interesting about Instagram. I was just promoted to upgrade my account. Won't be doing that now. Thank you. I'm not saying I'm right. Research it. I didn't research a lot. All I know is it's owned by YouTube, or not YouTube, by Facebook, and the way Facebook handled their business pages, or, like I've got my art page on Facebook, no one sees anything over there. I don't post that often anymore. No one sees it. So I've got 30-something thousand, 31,000, whatever, subscribers or not subscribers, followers. That makes me sound really ungrateful for those. I'm not. I'm super grateful for everyone who liked the page. But Facebook, when I post something, only maybe it starts out 400 people might see it. Now, yeah, that is still 400 people for free who see it. But Facebook is like, well, if you pay us some money, we'll show your other fans more of this stuff. And it's like, that is just really shady. And so, yeah, I find that's not and Instagram's owned by Facebook. So it's like, you can pretty much know where it's going with business accounts. So I think the business accounts have some features that the personal ones don't. But, well, I know being able to track your analytics, but it's like, oh, good. Now I can track the fact that less people see my content. That seems super useful. I'm not an expert on this. That is just what I'm assuming based on what I've seen Facebook do with Facebook pages. Let's see. Jason said, hey, how do you paint or draw an environment that's orangish color due to ash from fires? I would use orangish colors. I know that seems like obvious, but yeah, you use more oranges mixed in, or oranges, reddish browns. You mix that in with your color. It's the same as anything else. What's your reference photo telling you? Your reference photo has the information you need there. Look at that. You can use color matching apps to like pinpoint the eyedropper tool. I've shown you guys how to do that in other videos, where you can pinpoint to see what color you should be using. But it's just an adjustment of the temperature of colors you're using. You're also going to typically get kind of a hazy look. I lived in California. God, what year was that? It was like 2002, 2003, 2004, right around there. We had the fires that were real bad too. Well, California, there's always fires now, but I remember the sky being constantly orange. That was like, I will never forget my nose burning going outside at all, the instant headache. Like, it was bad. That was before I used to really have problems with headaches too. So that was like, yeah, no, that sucked. But anyway, the point is, it's like anything else. You look at what is your reference photo telling you? You're going to adjust, obviously, the hues that the shades that you're using, but the information's in whatever photo you have. And it's going to be hazy on top of that, so you're not going to get like crisp clouds in the background. It's just this hazy glow. Hazy glow of headache. Alana said, I used brush and pencil titanium white touch-up texture for the first time this week, and it flaked a lot when I put colored pencil over it. I think I used too much titanium white. It could be that, or it wasn't really dry all the way. So that's the thing with this, is that it takes a long time to dry. Usually, if I've had it flake, it's because it wasn't it's almost like it has to cure. It really needs time to sit before you're ready to put anything over or put much pressure over. Arwa said, good morning. Good morning. Jason said, no picture, real life. Take a picture. You've got a cell phone? Go take a picture. I'm assuming you have a cell phone. But I mean, I would go outside, go take the pictures then. I mean, if it's real life and you're seeing that right now, that picture will definitely help you. Now I can come back through with colored pencils. I can come back through with pan pastels later, but that's where I'm going to leave that. Let's go ahead and spray those. Let's see. This is my first time trying this. How heavy does it come out? Oh, this is amazing. Oh my gosh. I put it too heavy. I'm still learning. It's okay. I'll put another layer over it. I've got some droplets on there. Oh, is it going to run? I almost want to just leave it and see what happens. I should put stars in there too later. But I can blend that out, so it's no big deal. Casey said, that's how it is at my house. The skies are all orange red, and I get a headache most days from smoke The smoke from the fires. Yeah, I remember I had gotten, back before bed bugs were such an issue where you could go to thrift stores and get furniture to refinish without fearing infecting or contaminating your entire house. But I had gotten some stuff, a big dresser at thrift stores. I had the big dresser and then two small ones a friend had given me. They were all solid wood, so like a lot older, good stuff. And I was, during those fires, trying to go outside and sand. I'd already sanded them. I was trying to get out there and stain them. And it was during the fire. God, that sucked. Like, you know those memories that will stay with you for life? That is it. Like, I swear I can still smell it today. It was really bad. PC Cherokee said, you, Aaron, Blaze, and Proco are all streaming live. Why all the same time? We apparently don't coordinate with each other. Okay. So, oh, that is big droplet there. Like, I really put that on heavy. Lesson learned. Go a little bit lighter, Lisa. We'll turn it into a cloud. Oh, that kind of looks cool. I got too excited. Oh, man, it's on heavy here. Luckily, Lux Archival handles water media very well, so it's not going to hurt the paper at all. So one of the things, I'm going to let that dry before I go on with the next section. One of the things when you are, just as an artist, as a general rule, something you need to be willing to do all the time is make mistakes. Have something happen that you go, I won't do that again. That's a good thing. Whatever it was that you're not going to do again is a very important thing to learn. We need to experiment. We need to try things because sometimes it'll be something where you're like, wow, that was awesome. I'm definitely doing that again. And sometimes you were a little heavy-handed on that, Lisa. This is how we're going to learn. Don't be afraid to mess stuff up. What's the worst that's going to happen? I throw some more clouds on there. I don't care. It's okay. So don't be afraid. Don't be so afraid to make a mistake that you don't move forward in your art. What is the sprayer? Water? Or what is in the sprayer? No, it's fixative or Spectrafix I put in there. And it's a fine mist sprayer that went on so fine, I put on way more than I thought I was. So you don't need that much. Lesson learned. But yeah, it works well. Okay. Are you dry enough? See, yeah, wow, that is wet. Okay, let's see what happens. We may be making another mistake, but let's take the hairdryer. So, take out your earbuds. Random thought, wrong time of year, but wouldn't fireflies be cute on this with these colors? We might need to do that. Okay, now I can go back over. Let's smooth that out. See, look, it didn't even ruin anything. Gail said, hey, Lisa, always blow dry the Spectrafix in between, or I always blow dry the Spectrafix in between layers. Good to know. Rick said, what was the sprayer you were just using called? Not the Spectrafix. It's just look up Fine Mist Sprayer on, this one's from Amazon. And you can see it doesn't have any name. I have this one is the Delta Art Sprayer. I got it from Dick Blick. They're really, there's not a lot of difference and they seem performance-wise to be about the same. They both were fairly similar in price, if I remember correctly. Like it wasn't like a huge savings to get the one on Amazon versus the one from Blick. But with Blick, you've got to buy a certain amount to get free shipping. So there's that. But usually I want lots of stuff from there anyway, so it's not a big deal. Wait, stop. Okay. What's next? Pumpkin. So I am going to need a new spongy guy. The back of that is dirty, so I'm just going to flip that over. Hopefully it doesn't rip. It might. It's not looking like it's in the best condition. Okay. Nick said that new mic handles the hairdryer wonderfully. Yay! I had someone after last week's live stream ask me to mute during the hairdryer, but this mic, it's not, I don't even know where the mute would be, and I don't think I want to start screwing with, I don't think it has a mute. I don't know, unless, I guess, if I unplugged it, which we don't want to deal with that. It was easier with the old mic to mute. I didn't, but I could have. This one, not so much. Kathleen said, yes, fireflies must happen. Okay, good. because I'm really thinking that would be cute. Someone said, are you going to change the lighting on the cat and the pumpkin to be purplish since the background is? Absolutely. I think that's very important to make sure they all feel like they go together. Rainey said, I'm so sad I'm working and unable to participate. Registered nurse. Oh, that's a good job though. I picked up some pan pastels but have been too chicken to use them. This would be the perfect opportunity to try them. Luckily, you can follow along later. So yes, you need to try them. They're so fun. Casey said, I tried the masking tape with the eraser. Works great. Thank you. Oh, good. Okay. So pumpkin, let's block him in. Now he's got white, which mine will actually be a light purple. I'll put it in kind of a cream color to start with. So I'll mix some white, and I don't know what this color is. What color am I mixing? Burnt sienna. And I'm going to block that in for my light areas first. I'll have to come back through with some purples though. Nick said, a firefly on the end of the stem. It's what the kitten is looking at. That would be cute too. I think I'm going to put a bunch though, because I don't have self-control and I like fireflies. So I think if one's cute, 8 to 20 would be cuter. Aw, there's a dove out in my garden. Oh, I forgot to put food out for him today. I'll feed you in an hour. Well, a little over an hour. So as always, your colors don't need to be exact. They don't need to be perfect. Your values matter more than anything. Now, that said, I still will have to pull purple so they feel like they're a part of the same scene. But if you, I always say this, if you don't have the same colors as me, it doesn't matter. It's just not that big of a deal. I think that's one of the biggest things that people get hung up on is what color to use. It's not as big of a deal as everyone thinks it is. Now, what values, that matters. I don't know if I'm going to leave that pumpkin soft there or harshen it. Harshen it? Is that even a word? Harshen it up? No, that's not it either. Crisp it up? I don't know. Make it not soft. Unblur it. My vocabulary has apparently failed me today. But yeah, we'll see. This is what I love though. You can change your mind and go back and adjust stuff so easily on sanded paper. It's funny because when I first tried my brain just shut down again, powder blender products. And I heard you needed to do it on sanded paper. I'm thinking, I'm not going to like sanded paper. I want smooth. I like really smooth. There's no way. Yeah, I was wrong. I love when I'm wrong when it comes to like art supplies that I don't think I'll like, and then I turned out to love them. Joseph says, speaking of self-control, how are the new plants you may or may not have gotten? Well, I actually repot it. So usually when you get a new plant, you don't typically want to repot it right away. Let it adjust to your environment is the better way to go. But 2 of them were from Lowe's, and one of them was so oversaturated. The other one was in a pot that had no drainage hole. It's like, I have to repot both of these or they will definitely die. I don't usually buy houseplants from Lowe's, but they had an alocasia and the waffle plant, which like we were not there for that. We were there for an air filter. I can't turn that down. So anyway, those guys had to be repotted last night. So far, they're doing good. They'll go into shock to an extent because of it. I'll slow their progress. But I had a few things that had to be repotted just because they had some questionable like conditions they were currently living in. And so I decided it would be better for the plant to go ahead and repot. Quite a few of them last night got repotted than to wait for it to adjust to my environment. So that was last night's project. Repotting the plants is weirdly fun though. Let's see. But I didn't get any new plants, so I don't know what you're talking about. Casey said, so does that mean since you like Gibson and Wade, having 8 to 20 of each of them would be better? I can't afford to feed anymore. Feeding raw is stupidly expensive. And I mean, I save, I guess, on dental work and other things. So, you know, fair trade-off, but I don't think I could afford 8 to 20. I couldn't afford 3 luckily though, that's the thing that keeps me from being a greyhound hoarder, is that I just can't afford more. Otherwise I probably would, especially because I'll go to let's see, we need to start adding some oranges in here. So I'm going to use, I think this one was just orange. Yeah, just orange. I take photos when they get new greyhounds in at the place that I adopted these boys. And I used my good camera to get those good photos for them because they were just kind of taking like cell phone snapshots, and they weren't as appealing as what those dogs really looked like. So I go now and take it with the good camera for them. And once a month, once every other month, they'll have new dogs that need photos. So let me tell you how many times I wanted to bring more home with me. Oh my gosh, when you meet some of these dogs in person, it's like, oh, I know you want to live with me. But I mean, they all get homes really quickly. But yeah, that's hard for me. The only reason that keeps me from not bringing more home is like, I can't afford to feed you. Not with what I feed the boys. Let's see. On which case is better to use luminance or polychromos if I'm working on watercolor? Also, what do you think about the Pablos compared to the polychromos? Pablos don't compare to polychromos. Pablos are your wax-based, and there's arguments about whether they're wax. They're wax and oil, but they're higher in wax content. They're very waxy, and I don't think that they really compare to the very oil-based luminance, polychromos. I know some people will compare them like, oh, they do good for details. They don't work for my techniques. I like them on sanded paper for final details. I think they work very well because they're wax-based or, higher in the wax content. They don't blend out with powder blender. So they would be my last layer, but they're not like I don't have a full set. I only have a few colors of them. Like I didn't like them enough that I felt I had to go out and buy a bunch of them, which is odd for me. Maybe eventually, but it wasn't a huge priority. Like there were other things I would rather spend the money on, like plants I may or may not have bought, but they're very different in how they work. Again, the Pablos are wax based, so very, very waxy. You're not going to get as many layers. I almost felt sticky, if that makes sense. Whereas the polychromos are oil based, so you can get a lot of layers. You don't get the wax buildup at all. Now, when I say wax buildup, it's not wax bloom. That's different. I have not seen that with anything really, but the Prismacolors. But yeah, that they're not my preference. But let's say you're going on top of watercolor, so it depends on what you're doing. If you need something to be darker and fine detail, your polychromos are going to be your go-to. If you're trying to make something lighter and stand up over something that's already dark with the watercolor, your opaque wax-based pencils are going to be a better choice. So it really just depends on more specifics than that. I would use them both depending on what I'm trying to accomplish. Hi, Ahmed. Lynn said, hi, Lisa, would you consider doing a classic style like in anything other than oils? Huh? I'm not sure what you're asking. Celine said, sorry I'm late. Don't have a glazing medium, just water. How do I glaze? With water. I don't usually glaze with glazing medium. I almost always use water myself. I like it better. Pat said, did you ever watch Mike and Molly? Mike made Molly cut up her credit cards. My mother-in-law used to watch them. I never watched it much. April said, drawing all of the art cuteness. Oh my goodness. Julie said, I found out that 2 of my Gray's litter mates are still running at the racetrack associated with the adoption group I got mine at. I hope that I can adopt the brother in his retirement. Oh, wouldn't that be awesome? Aw. Mine were flunkies. Mine did not even get to the racing section. We have Wade, who's afraid of his own shadow. Actually, I'm struggling with that. If you guys have tips, let me know. So my problem with Wade, we've been having a hard time getting him like walks. He cries when me and Gibson go on our walks, like he wants to go. That dog is terrified once he's out. Wait, no scratching. He's pulling on the leash the whole time. It's not a training issue. His anxiety is so high. And I took him outside during the day. We got him a no-pull harness that seemed to kind of help. So I'm like, well, let's take him out. I'll take him by himself on short walks, like to the mailbox. We didn't even get that far. I took him into the front yard at all, and he was just in a panic, like he was his first day here when he went in the backyard. So I know he can get over it because he got over the fear in the backyard. But I am just like, he's pulling on the leash to the point where he's going to hurt himself. I'm trying to like push him back from the door because he's just trying to get back inside. I mean, my neighbors are probably going to call me thinking I was abusing the dog because he was flipping out so bad. He was so scared. And I'm not sure if I should just go ahead. I've got to take him to the vet to get more heartworm medication, or they need to get another test and then their medication. So I may get some medication to help him get over the initial anxiety, like not long-term, just hopefully he'll get over the fear, to where he's just not associating outside as something to be terrified of. But he wants to walk with this, but then when he gets out there, he's so scared, and I feel so bad for him. So he failed racing. I would imagine he doesn't run normal anyway. We call it his derps. He gets the derps and he just kind of toddles fast in the backyard. But he's afraid of his own shadow. People are the only thing he's not afraid of. Like to him, people mean safety, but like sounds are scary. So he flunked out on racing. And then Gibson, I imagine Gibson's fast. Like that dog, his movement is very good as far as like his extension and stuff. But he when you throw a toy or something that he wants to chase, he stands there and looks at it, and then he'll go. You've got like this 10-second delay. It's hilarious. So I think that's why I'm glad he failed, because that means I got to get him. But yeah, I did see a thing that looked interesting. The daytime is scaring Wade more. I think the extra stimulation. I did see the company that makes the Thunder shirt. They make a Thunder cap that goes over their eyes and it dims. They can still see, but it's less. So maybe it would be like it lowers the how stimulated they are. I just saw that last night. I'm thinking, I don't know if any of you guys have tried that. I was thinking maybe that would help him to just getting him. And I know he can get over the fear because he was that afraid of our backyard originally. We'd have to drag him outside. He thought it was going to murder him. It was a murder yard. But yeah, the poor boy is just so afraid of sounds and sights, and he wants to be in the yard or the house are his safe places, and he loves it here, but he cries when we leave him too. And I'm like, but I can't bring you because they're so afraid. So yeah, I've got to figure out what's the best way, because I've never had a dog that had the fear level like that. Poor boy. So we're working with him on helping him, but I was trying to give him cookies outside, and he will calm down enough eventually to take the cookies. But at first he's too much in a panic. So you have to be like firm, holding him still so he's not trying to run away. Oh, poor boy. But the no-pull harness does seem to help better than the collar, because he was just choking himself on the collar. Like we have the martingale. I wasn't even putting a dent in anything. I tried the head halter, but he pulled so hard constantly that he couldn't pant. I'm like, okay, this isn't safe. So now we tried the no-pull harness, and normally I'm not a fan of harnesses. Yeah, we're just like trying everything with him to help. Okay, let's see. Casey said, I'm liking this. I may or may not have made the mistake of buying pie, and I might have overdrawn my calorie count. Oops. I was just talking to my husband yesterday. I'm like, because there's a bakery in Frisco out here that does gluten-free stuff. I'm like, as soon as I have extra calories, like when I can up my calorie intake a bit more, I am finding a cherry pie. Like probably I'll have to get a piece because I have a feeling I would binge on the whole thing. But I may or may not do the same. Celine said, okay, so water's fine, but how do I glaze? By thinning your paint with water. I'm not painting, so I can't really show you. You just mix water in with it and then paint, let it dry, and do the same. But I have videos, if you look up Lachri and glazing in acrylics, that walk you through how to do that. So that'll probably be an easier way to go. But yeah, just thin your paint with water. Rick said, how are Derwent Colorsoft pencils to use? Not my favorite. They don't work for my technique. I actually made a video. So funny story. That's how I started working with Derwent. This one is the red oxide, I believe. Hold on. Yeah, red iron oxide. I made a video using Colorsoft, and I absolutely hated them. I mean, I was joking. I was pretty harsh because I was just being funny, making jokes, but they were terrible for my techniques. Do not work. They don't layer. They would be fine for somebody who's doing looser sketches. Fine. But for what I do, absolutely not. And Derwent contacted me from that video, and I was like, when I saw that I had an email from Derwent, I'm like, uh-oh, because the video had not been up for more than a couple of days. And I was like, uh-oh, they are going to ask me to take that down because I was mean. And that's what opened the conversation to where now I'm a brand ambassador with Derwent, and I love a lot of their products. Most of their products I love. That was pretty much the only one that I'm like, this does not work for me. But yeah, that's how I ended up getting in, with Derwent. Now I've done the cover of their Inktense. Like, I have so much respect for that company. I have respect for how they handled, first of all, the fact that I didn't like the pencils. They're like, well, we heard you that you like Inktense, or you were interested in Inktense. Can we send you some of those? I'm like, what? I was mean to you. But no, I mean, they handled it so well. And just ever since, like the way they handle artists, they are very adamant that their artists get paid. Like if they like doing the Inktense tins, they paid us for that. Whereas some companies I've seen, they were lesser companies. They weren't like big companies, but they'll just take artists' artwork and hope they don't get sued. It's happened to several artists. Esther Roy I think it was her that has it happen all the time. But yeah, that's like crazy how some of these companies are. Whereas the other thing with Derwent is they want to create a product that artists want to use, that artists like. So they've sent me a couple of times, like I can't really talk about the products, but they've sent me products that like, here, test these and let us take this thing and tell us what you felt about it. Like they do stuff like that a lot where they want to make products, quality products that artists like. And I have a lot of respect for a company who does that versus other companies who are knowingly making crap products, Prismacolor, that have all kinds of issues. And Prismacolor never, like, they don't seem to care. And I've heard from some people saying, oh, no, they improved their stuff. Well, weird, because usually if a company has a new and improved product, they have a big release about it. And I've not seen anything like that with, nothing newsworthy with Prismacolor. So I don't know if I believe that or not. Maybe they did, but they weren't very vocal about it. Like, but Prismacolor isn't owned by an art company. It's owned by like a company that makes Rubbermaid totes or something. I'm mixing up brands. Don't quote me on that. But it's like something like that. It's a company that makes something, it's not just an art supply company. So they don't have the same priorities. Whereas Derwent is like, we want to make quality products that artists want. And I have so much respect for them. So the more I talk to them, the more respect I have for that company. But yeah, that's how I met them, started talking to them was because I did that really bad review on Colorsoft. And then they were like, we want to make things better. So yeah, I really like that company. But Colorsoft pencils specifically, I do not like, and I don't recommend them. Ashley said, yes, I've had to temporarily medicate dogs to help them get over their initial fears. It's very helpful. Yeah, I think I'm going to I keep buying different, we'll try the head thing and see if that helps. But yeah, I have to go to the vet for him anyway. So it's like, I may as well go ahead. And I used to be super like, I didn't want to medicate him. I want to keep it natural. But if it's done, just to get over the initial fear, this is not a good way for him to live. I feel bad if I let him just stay in the house in the backyard, he's fine. He's the happiest dog. Anything outside of that though, I'm like, sometimes you'll have to go to the vet, or sometimes, you want to go on walks, but you're too afraid once you get there. So yeah, I've definitely got to be more open to methods I have not previously had to use. When I used to work at the animal hospital, when people wanted to medicate their dogs, I remember being so judgy. I didn't say this to the people, but I remember thinking, just train your dog. And then I had Jessie. Jessie was my first dog, my Italian Greyhound that I used to have. She was very nervous. And I never medicated her, but looking back, I think it could have really helped her initially get over some of those. Now, she was never to the extreme that Wade was, because I had her since she was a puppy. I knew her from the day she was born. So I was very good friends with her breeder. So she didn't have the same level of fear. She was nervous, but Wade is just full-blown panic mode. That poor boy is so scared. But thank you for that tip, Ashley. You're definitely making me lean towards I need to do that. Nick said, is he afraid of outside the yard or restraining devices, collars, harnesses? So it seems like the thing that restrains him is the only way I get him calm, by correcting him, or like I had to wrap the leash kind of around his muzzle to get him to look at me like, come on, look this way. Because if I let him be a little bit more loose, he started freaking out worse. Like it would just aggravate. So when he first moved in, the second day he was here was when he started, like he'd be in the backyard. We'd let him go out off the leash. We've got the 6-foot fences. He was in a full-blown panic. I had to start taking him on a leash. He felt more secure for, God, I forget how many days or a week or so we had to keep him on a leash until he felt secure out there. So I think the being somewhat restrained definitely was better. But we found the other night, we had been walking him with this martingale, and then I had tried the head halter. Then the other night, my husband came with me. I can't walk both of them together now because he pulls too much. Like he is strong. He's walking next to me. Somebody from the outside would think he's a perfectly trained dog. They don't know I'm like physically holding him back to be at my side. But we tried, I wrapped the leash kind of around. They have what is it? Like a thunder leash type thing, but it attaches to the martingale and it goes around their rib cage. He walked better. He started to calm down when we did that. So that's why I bought the Two Hounds design has a no pull harness that is kind of like a martingale where it tightens. So that's where we tried that. But yesterday was the first time I took him out in the day since we really moved in. He's been on a couple of day walks back months ago when he first moved in, but all summer he hasn't. He was freaked out like I've never seen him. Well, no, I shouldn't say not like I've ever seen him. That's how he was when he first moved in with the backyard. So it seems like the more freedom, at least in the backyard, made it worse. But at the time, and then on the walk, he did better on the harness than he did with the leash. I don't know. Every time I've gotten to where I'm like, okay, I think we've figured out what's making it worse and how to solve this problem. 2 days later, he'll revert. So it's like, it's been kind of hard to tell, I guess. Patricia said we adopted a puppy mill dog who had severe anxiety, had to do something similar to get her used to walks. Now she loves them. That's encouraging to hear. Oh, that makes me feel, because I want him to love. I mean, he wants to go with me and Gibson so bad, but he's so afraid. I mean, you're dragging him out, like physically dragging him out the front door. He just does not want to go once we actually go. Pat said, one of my dogs is afraid of walks. She actually asks to have her lead put back on as it makes her feel safer. That's interesting. I thought about getting him a Thunder shirt too. Maybe that would help. I don't know. Rick said, the reason I asked is they work really well over pastels for me. Oh, where was that question, Rick? I'm sorry. Oh, was it the Color Soft? I could see that working over Color Soft. Or the Color Soft working over pastels. That actually kind of makes sense as a potential solution to what I didn't like. That's interesting, and I think I might have some here. I may have to try that. That would make sense. Let's see. TK said, Thunder shirts really work if you train positively. Doesn't work by putting them on, just by putting them on. My dog wore it during nights when we cuddled, or she got a big chewing treat for weeks. That might be a good, yeah, so that makes sense. And we're trying to, I brought a bag full, like, that attached to almost like a fanny pack for, what am I doing now? What was I just doing? Oh, let's get the brown in here for the stem. We'll just block that in. See, I told you guys today's was going to be ugly. We'll make it pretty next week when we get going with the pencils. But we're just loosely blocking stuff in. But I was giving him treats, but he wouldn't take them. So I'd sneak one in his mouth and he was like, oh, this is good. And then he'd calm down and start eating them. So we're trying, like, I got him really good treats too. They look like vanilla Oreos. They've got cream inside. I don't know. Which one is it? Three Dogs Bakery. Those are his. Only when you're out front do you get these cookies, but getting him calm enough to start taking the cookies, like it takes, like when we're done with the live stream today, I'm going to work with him on that because my husband will be up. It's easy. He seems to do better if my husband and I are both there together. So we're going to try that. But yeah, he's got good cookies for that. We're trying to make it a positive, like, so he starts associating. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat, Susan. You were so sweet. Let's see. DJ said, don't put anything over his face. I think that would make him worse. Short walks, maybe short hold on his collar and ignore his freakouts. He will feel your fear and get worse. Well, I don't have fear. I just feel, bad for him. And I know not to show them that you feel bad because that actually can make it worse. And you learned that from Jesse. But, the thing over the face, from what I'm reading, it looks like it could potentially make him feel more secure and you've got to keep in mind, he's a greyhound. He wears muzzles like it's nothing. He doesn't even care that the muzzle is on his face. Like something over his face doesn't freak him out. So greyhounds are used to those. They grow up wearing them when they're turned out to keep them safe so they don't bite each other. So he would be fine with I think he would be a good candidate for that. Now, whether or not it would work, I don't know. But I don't think he would be one that it would freak out because he is already accustomed to muzzles. And this would be, he could still open his mouth completely. It would just be kind of over his eyes. Greyhounds are funny too, because they wear clothes and they wear things that like a normal dog would be like, get this off me. Greyhounds are like, oh, I feel fancy. I'm wearing something. Do you have a fancy hat for me? Greyhounds are a little bit weird when it comes to that sort of thing. So I do think he would be a good, whether or not it would work, I don't know, but I don't think it would freak him out. George said, do you plan to use the pan pastel on the kitten too? I do. I'll do the base layers. Yes, I do. Because it's going to save a ton of time when we go on top with our colored pencils. Let's see. April said, my dog mama had the same problem as your dog, but her issue was with thunder and lightning, and living in Florida for a while becomes a problem every time she wants to hide under your bed. Oh, that would be bad. Luckily, he is nervous about thunder, and at worst, we'll put him in his crate. That seems to calm him down. But normally, he's definitely improved. Every once in a while the thunder will get to him, but normally with thunder, he does pretty well. He was definitely nervous at first, but when he gets really, really nervous, we just put him in his crate and he lays down and he's calm. He's not panting or anything, but if we let him stay loose, he started to pace and pant on some days. And some days he's just like, oh, it's thunder. It's okay today. Gibson's not typically bothered by thunder and lightning. So I'm hoping that kind of rubs off on Wade realizing, oh, this is not something to panic about. But luckily he's not terrible with that. Now, fireworks did bug them when people were setting them off. The like city ones that were off in the distance didn't bug them, but the people who were setting them off in their own yards all freaking night long, that bothered him. But Noise like that doesn't usually, if he's inside. Now, if you put him in the backyard and it happens, then that scared him. Let's see. Someone said, I apologize, I know I'm butchering your name. I'm really sorry. I use the Derwent Colorsoft pencils on the background. It saves the core lead, a lot of core lead from the expensive brands such as Caran d'Ache Luminance. If that works for you, great. Jamie said, I know you joke about this often, but if you take a step back and watch the work in progress come together, your pieces really do come together like a Bob Ross piece. Those guys are magical. Oh, that's awesome. Carolyn's Art Adventures, your name, said, I never used pan pastels, but I have some from a palette full packs a while back. Do you have any advice for somebody who has never used pastels? Now, normal pastels, I don't have any advice. Sorry, itchy nose. And now I probably have purple on my nose. I don't have any advice for regular pastels because I don't use them. They're chalky and they freak me out. But for, I guess we can start on the Kitten now. I'm going to the same color, just mixing brown and white for the light areas and a little bit of red oxide. Or no, that's not red oxide. That is burnt sienna. With the pan pastels, just experiment with them. I really like them on sanded paper. I do want to try them on Canson Mitens. I've not tried that yet, but I really do like the results I get with sanded paper with them. Not all paper is going to be the same, and that's true no matter what kind of pastels you're using. This, by the way, will be mostly whites, but I'll do that with a pencil later. I'm just kind of blocking in about where the lights and darks go. I don't really have too many tips there. Oh, if you really are interested in pastels, go follow Jason Morgan. He does a lot of wildlife and in pastels. He's definitely, I would say, an expert when it comes to pastels. He likes the pencils too, where they freak me out. Like the feel of them on my hands absolutely freaks me out. Pan pastels don't do that. They don't have that dry feel to them. So that's why I'm able to use these, but I'm too neurotic for normal ones. And so I can't really give you too much advice. It was funny. I used to use them when I was younger and they didn't bother me. But the older I got, the more insane apparently I got. So yeah, I can't really give much more advice than that. Let's see. TK said, dogs with big fear sometimes need medicine for the thyroid. Oh, that would be, maybe I should check him for that. I haven't checked for that. I hope that is the correct English word. Maybe the vet could check it. Yeah, well, I don't know when he'd need another dental. Hopefully no time soon. But that, that may be something to look into. I definitely appreciate the advice. It's something I can talk to the vet about. Celine said, what do you think of Artist Loft? They work the exact same as Liquitex Basics. I don't think there's a difference. It's $1 less. I don't like the generic of any of those. They have a higher gloss, in my experience, the students that had brought them in, than Liquitex Basics. And so that's going to, right there is one of the main reasons I like Liquitex Basics. They're fairly matte. But I don't like or really trust personally most of the generic brands. I will use the paint brushes, but the other stuff like the actual paints, the actual canvas, the companies that make the generics, they didn't do all the, I just don't think they have the experience that like Liquitex or Golden's or, companies that really just focus on art supplies do. I used to work at Michael's. I used to teach there, and just knowing how that company is run. And I mean, it's a company where it's all about money, and I get that. Every company needs to make money. But my problem was they made a lot of choices that I saw firsthand from the district managers on down, and I never saw higher than that. But they made a lot of choices that were not based on what was the good choice for the artist, for the customer, for the and even honestly, it ended up not being the greatest choice for the business. But I don't trust it in my artwork. I want my artwork to last a really long time. And I don't necessarily, from what I've seen, trust that they are going to be the people that will make that happen. Whereas like Liquitex, Golden's, these companies that they're invested in just art supplies, I trust that they know what they're doing more. For artwork, that is a bigger deal for me. Now, paintbrushes, doesn't affect whether or not how archival or how long my artwork is going to last. Doesn't affect anything like that. So I love generic paintbrushes. But when it comes to the paint, I'm personally a bit of, I don't know, I almost want to say I'm acting like a conspiracy theorist of sorts, where I'm not trustful. We'll say that. But I also didn't like them anyway when students brought them in. Let's see. Certainly not enough to save $1. Where are we? Sorry, I've got to scroll back up. I'm missing a whole bunch. Here we go. Elizabeth said, clear gesso has a fine tooth that you put on good watercolor paper and it creates a great surface for pan pastels. Oh, well, that makes sense because I did like when I used regular gesso, I thinned it with water and ran it through my airbrush and gessoed watercolor paper to use as a surface for powder blender and colored pencils. And that worked. I did like it. It was just, I'm lazy and it was too much work for me, but I could definitely see where that would work. PZ Cherokee said, how would you suggest doing backgrounds in graphite? I use my pencil, but it takes a long time and I can see the pencil streaks. Graphite powder, have you used that? It's amazing. It's not terribly expensive. You can use it. I apply it with soft tools, same things I'm using here. It is amazing. I absolutely love that. Hi, Gibson. So what I'm doing right now, this area is going to be white. I've got to go darker than white because I want white pencils on top. This needs to be my shadow underneath. And so that's why these areas on this guy that will be white, look how dark I'm going. I need this to be the thing that shows up in between the strands of white first. So I'm doing this to make my job easier later on. Mister, why are you here? You should be lying down. Kiss your snoot. Ugh, snoot juice on my nose. That's gross. Let's see. DJ said, I forgot about the harness on a Greyhound. Yeah, these ones, it's by Two Hounds Design, and it's it tightens around the chest, like the chest there, so they're not going to pull out of it. So normal harnesses, a lot of people think that that's a safer way to keep your dog from getting away. No, they can escape out of a harness. A properly fitted martingale, a dog's not going to get out of. Whereas a harness, they will. The other problem with a normal harness is harnesses are what sled dogs wear. If you put a sled dog outfit on a dog, they can easily pull. So the no-pull harnesses would be very specific to that. But yeah, I don't like not having the full control of his head when he decides like, oh, I need to start sniffing everything, like stopping. We're not going to walk because I've decided I'm going to obsess over this bush, which I don't allow when we walk. We're walking. So I've never really liked that about harnesses anyway. But at night where there was less stimuli, whatever, around him, he did pretty well when I tried that. I haven't tried the specific no-pull harness. I did the one around his ribcage that I put together with his usual leash, just because that's what I had with him that night, or with me. But yeah, we'll see how that goes when I walk him at night. Nick said, my dog is a bit nervous. I call him a chicken and runs to me when something scares him, but that's a good thing around here. Saves him from being eaten by wildlife. Oh yeah, that definitely would be good. Joseph said, do they use starter pistols in Greyhound racing? I'm not sure. He never would have gotten to the point where he ever would have heard that. I'm not sure if they do, honestly. I know typically, I think it's a bell. They're in their like the turnout thing and the doors open when they go, but I'm not sure. I think it's more of a bell. I'm not sure what they used to. Oh, Belle said, New World Rubbermaid owns Prismacolor. Okay, so I did have the right brand. I thought I was just making it, or, pulling some random thing. Let's see. I can't thank you enough for your advice about values and lights and darks. Working on a third mandala at the moment. Your tips are really helpful. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome. Rick said, the pan pastels work great on Inktense paper, just cannot get as many layers on the rougher side. I have to try it. I just haven't yet. Judy said, pan pastels work great on Mi-10's touch as well. Where do we go? There we are. Hello, Shiny said, my lamb walks on a leash. Oh my God, how cute. I took him a few times for coffee and he's walked across the road a few times on the lead too. He sat quietly under the coffee table while I drew. Oh my God, that is adorable. Wow. Laura said, my dog just came in to investigate after hearing the caller over the video. That's funny. Okay, coffee. It feels like happy. Okay, back to the kitten. Now he's just going to be kind of a muddy mess of what I'm building up with today. Okay, and then let's just put black. I'll just keep it simple for where his stripes are going to go. I'll block that in first. Let's see. And I'm just holding the brush kind of at the tip. I don't need any of this to be crisp. None of that matters because the colored pencil will take over that next week. We'll get all of our detail. That's always the fun time for me. I love when you get to start making, oh, those are some creepy eyes. Halloween eyes. Yeah, drawing, I love that with the pan pastels and colored pencil, drawing fur over it. Oh my gosh, it's so fun because you get such good results so quickly. Now with him, because he's not anyone's specific pet, I don't need to care. I don't care if I get all of his stripes exactly. It's not worth me spending the extra time to make sure it's perfect because no one will ever know the difference. Now, the difference there, or the change, I guess, if this were somebody who was hiring me to paint their kitten, every single stripe needs to be perfect and everything. You don't want to miss one. You don't want to miss any of that because that's a part of that specific person's cat. So that's important. Same thing with dogs. If they're like a brindle marking, you need to make sure the brindle marking is exact. I tell this story all the time, but it's a good example. There was an Italian Greyhound forum that I was on back before Facebook was a thing. And one of the artists who was trying to build like clients, there was one of these dogs that was like, her name was Eloise, Italian Greyhound, that was like super popular on the forum because the owner posted constantly like these super cute photos all the time. And so everyone would paint pictures of Eloise. So I don't even know if she's still on my website. I did one of her and I did one of the other dog that the owner had, but she'd get these amazing, like super cute photos. Well, this one artist decided to paint the dog for her and she painted the markings on the wrong side. For some reason, she reversed the image. And the person who was the owner of the dog told me, she's like, what am I supposed to do with this? I mean, it was nice of her. I don't want to be mean. It was super nice, but I can't hang it. It doesn't look like my dog. It's not my dog. The markings are on the wrong side of the body because she was had very distinctive markings. And it's like that, even as a free gift, it didn't matter. It wasn't that dog anymore. So you have to watch that. If you were a pet portrait artist, the markings, the stripes in this case, that does need to be exact. For me, I'm just drawing a cute kitten. It doesn't matter. If I think she would look cute or he would look cute with an extra stripe, I'll add an extra stripe or take one out. It doesn't matter in that case. But that is something you need to be aware of as a pet portrait artist because even though you may not realize that all of those stripes are exact, the owner probably will. Let's see. Casey said, sorry if you already answered this, but do you always do a background for graphite or do you ever leave it blank? I think I need it in order to make my light stand out. I have left it blank and sometimes that's the way to go. One of the main reasons I don't usually leave the white of the paper white, I always smudge it. I know I'm going to smudge it, so why give myself the headache of trying to keep it clean when I will inevitably get smudges on that white? But I have, and I love the look of the white paper if you are more competent than I am when it comes to that. But I will always smudge it. If I'm making darker colors on that background, it doesn't really matter if I smudge. I hide that, no problem. So that's, for me, why I don't do it very often. Are those are Pennywise eyes? They are. They're so creepy. They're definitely Halloween eyes. PZ Cherokee said, your coffee must be really good. Which kind are you drinking? Today it is a cinnamon one with cinnamon vanilla creamer. I'm on a cinnamon kick. I'm pretending it's completely fall right now. I even have, well, no, now it's vanilla, but I had my Scentsy that was cinnamon going the other day too. Okay, so let's invent some paws in there. I'll just get some shadows. I'm giving him big paws because I think kittens with huge paws are most of this is going to get covered with grass, but I love big kitten paws. Oh, wrong mouse. Lucia's Art World said, hi, Lisa. I love the way this piece looks already. Can't wait to try and draw this myself. My mom asked me to do a winter landscape for her, and I'm terrified of starting it. This medium would be good for that. For landscapes, I haven't done it, but I should. We should do a pan pastel landscape. So this is the leg that I adjusted. In the photo, he had his hind leg kind of sitting out and his front leg behind that. So it was positioned weird. And I just didn't love the way that looked. So I'm adjusting my guy a little bit. This is going to be his front leg and then his hind leg is just kind of hidden back there. So he's sitting somewhat differently just because I think it would look better. I mean, it may be a bad call, but I think we'll be good. Nope. Simon said, the purple sky and pumpkin is giving me a Stranger Things vibe. Stranger Things vibe. Yeah, kind of, huh? I have a Stranger Things My Little Pony. I never finished the last season, though. I got bored with, oh, this is scratchy. I need to change this. So see how it's getting a hole? The way I fix that is by taking it off and putting a new one on there. Don't just try to keep working on it. You'll start scratching your paper. I couldn't finish. I don't know if it ended up getting better. I got bored. It got to where it was being like, no, that is not the right one. I don't know. I mean, that show's supposed to be somewhat cheesy, but it was like, I don't know. I just couldn't bring myself to finish that last season. I may have to go back and see if it ended up getting any better, but it just was not holding my interest. Ashley said, I did send you a PM with the name of the CBD oil that's working for my dogs. Oh, good. If CBD oil is working. I wasn't sure if that would even be strong enough to make a difference. His anxiety is so high when he goes outside. And it's such a weird thing because he is the happiest boy inside. I mean, tail wagging, playing with his toys, prancing around. He feels safe in here and he loves it in here. But you take him out front, oh my God, you would not think it was the same dog. Poor guy. But yeah, I would definitely like to try CBD for him. If that's working for you, thank you. I will try it. Let's see. Love your channel and tutorials. Oh, thank you. Linda said, I recently purchased Stabilo chalk pastel pencils. Would these be similar to what you are using? I couldn't afford the more expensive Faber-Castell. I don't use pastel pencils, so I can't tell you much about them. I would ask Jason Morgan. He's definitely more of an expert when it comes to pastels. Normal pastels freak me out how they feel on my hands. So I don't use them and I can't give a whole lot of advice or much in the way of opinions there. I'm not sure what's good or not. So I'm no helpful. I genuinely have no idea. I mean, they should work. You can draw with them like this. I mean, any medium you have, use what you've got. It's better than not having anything, but those might be awesome. I have no idea, honestly. Maybe somebody else will know. Oh, Jamie, thank you. So Lisa, how much are you picking up on the blender, like a swipe, or do you have to really rub it in to get payoff? I'm not working along today, but I've always been interested in pastels. Okay, I will show you. Actually, I'll do a demonstration here. Let's go ahead. And so this is with black, and the black I'm wanting it to be very dark. So just, that's it. That's enough to get this level of dark. Like I need that pretty dark back there. And that's what I get. You can load it a little bit more, but you can layer quite a bit. And one of the things I still can't get over, even with pan pastels, normally with pastels or pencil on sanded paper, you get so much fallout. Like it makes a huge mess. There's hardly any with this. I can't get over, like, how is this paper doing that? It's weird to me. I've never seen sanded paper that wasn't super, or even if I worked on like a pastel, like normal, whatever, pastel paper, Kitten, whatever. I don't remember what I used to use when I worked in pastels years ago, but I know it was Kitten something. It might've been Inktense. I don't know though. Anyway, there's a lot of fall off. It's very messy. This is there's some, but not like it was. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. But yeah, you don't have to put too much on there. If you put on too much, like you can't, if you don't put enough, go back and put more. And I don't know if you even can put on too much. Like, so it's very forgiving. Celine said, did you know the clowns in 2016 are back in 2020? They are mainly clowns in Texas and also places that have woods on dirt roads. Oh, those creepy ones that people are just showing up. They're all over the world. They chase people in cars. Oh my gosh, that is terrifying. They need this kitten's eyes. Let's see. So what is pan pastel? I don't know what the actual description do I have it over here? Does it say anything? Hold on. I have the little thing that came with them. You can go to panpastel.com. It'll tell you more about it. I mean, I think that they have oil or something in it, so they're not as chalky, but the pan pastels versus like pastel pencil, these are these little discs, and you just lift off whatever color you want and apply it with these soft tools. So it's different than working in a pencil, but you can see I get this very, very soft look. Then what I do, because I don't like pastel pencils, you could use pastel pencils, but pastel pencils, and the reason I don't like them is not because of their effect. I think they're stunning when people, like the stuff Jason Morgan does and some of you guys in the art group, oh my gosh, it's amazing. The feel of pastel pencils just freaks me out because I'm a crazy person. So with these, it's a little bit oilier. Like it's all over my hands, but it doesn't feel chalky. So that's why I go with these. Let's see. My dog freaks out when the doorbell goes off on the TV thinking it's our own doorbell. Mine are starting to get more protective of the house with the growling and whining and whatever when they see somebody out front walk by, like walking. I'm seeing that a little bit more, which is new, odd for greyhounds. Celine said, also in any form of travel, they are armed with sharp scissors, guns, and knives. What? In a car, they try to break your window and get in. Oh, these are not the same clowns as before. There are multiple children that went, what? That is crazy. Jamie said, awesome. Thank you for your demo. It is always, I've always been intrigued by the medium. Yeah, you know what's funny? I was not intrigued by the medium. I like when other people work with pan pastels, but I just never, I'm like, I don't want to work with pan pastels. I assumed would be the same. And I'm like, no, I don't like pastels. Too messy. That's one of the things too. Even if I didn't freak out with how they felt, they are very messy. But I thought these would be the same, and they're just not. And so when Pan Pastel contacted me saying that they wanted to send me some, it's like, well, I'm not going to turn down free art supplies. Sure, I'll give it a try. Oh my gosh, thank God they did that, because I would have been missing out on an amazing product because I was not willing. I just assumed it was going to be the same. Let's see. Zara said, couldn't you wear gloves when you're using pastels? If I could, if gloves didn't also freak me out. Seriously, issues. I have them, a lot of them. George said, are those pan pastels light fast? I might want to try them in the future, especially for backgrounds. They are, and they will tell, not all of them. I mean, it depends on the color, but they tell you on the back, like this one is 4 stars. I think, what do these go up to? The biggest star, yeah, 4 stars would be the highest black, so that's going to be light fast. 4 stars is the highest, and then this one should be the lowest they have. Yeah, this is 3 stars, so it's still magenta, it's still light fast. I forget what it translates to, like in compared to colors are on the ASTM or Blue Wool scale, but I looked into those. Those ones I believe were all considered light fast, but it tells you, it gives you the star rating on the back of the thing. So yeah, they are archival. They're amazing. Casey said, maybe you should paint a clown just to be safe. No, I'm not. I'll paint clownfish. I do like clownfish, but I have never been, I'm not one who's completely freaked out by clowns, but I'm also not like, oh, I like how those look. I should have little clown figurines all over my house. Those are creepier than anything else, by the way. Let's see. Don't get me started on trolls or the garden gnomes. Those ones creep me out. Let's see. Alita, I am butchering your name and I apologize. Said, will you spray and fix it over the pastel layer before you start colored pencil? Absolutely. Yes, definitely. And I'm using Spectrafix, so this stuff here. And I've got mine, today is my first day trying this, in the little Fine Mist sprayer. You guys recommended that to me, and I like it. Yeah, the only time I really wear gloves is when I'm doing certain gardening things to keep the dirt from getting underneath my nails, or like if I have a little cut or something, I don't want to have it infected by whatever crap dirt I'm using. So, or soil and fertilizers and all of that. But even that is limited time. Tallulah said, are you going to do any spooky themed Halloween live streams or Patreon next month? I don't think so. Although I do need to do something surreal in acrylic, so maybe that could be Halloween themed. I don't know. What are you thinking? Sergi said, 4 stars equals a light fast 1, 3 stars light fast 2, both of which I'm good with, so that's good. Thank you, Sergi. Stacy said, can I make a suggestion for next Friday's live stream? I'd like to see a paint by number, please. I may be able to keep up with one of those. So Stacy is going to be visiting hopefully next month, but sometime in the near future. She's up in Wisconsin. She has a fun accent that I like to make fun of. Stacy's going to be coming down. I'm going to be getting swear words from her. I mean, it's Stacy. There's swear words all the time anyway. But she's going to participate when she's visiting in a live stream. I'm going to walk her through, she doesn't paint at all, step by step. So we'll both paint the same thing, and I'm going to teach her. We're going to finish. I don't know how long that live stream is going to be, but we're going to finish a painting, start to finish, walk her through it. But it'll be cool for you guys too, because you'll see exactly how I teach, what tips I would give for somebody who's new, and that's because Stacy. So that's going to be fun. There may or may not be wine involved that night. We may or may not admit to it if there is. I don't know if I could drink wine though. I have a tendency to start like not controlling my swear words more and more, so maybe that's not a good idea. Zara said, those people who dress up as clowns are awful, chasing and jumping out at people. They could give someone a heart attack. Those people are really afraid of, there are people that are, well, no one should be jumping out at anybody. Like, I don't know. I never, like people who watch prank shows and prank things, even if it's safe and no one's hurt, I just never found them to be funny, which is weird because I usually laugh at everything, but I just never really got the prank. Like, I don't think they're funny. I don't know. I never really got into those, and I don't understand, like, I don't understand wanting to scare someone, with the extent of if I walk in the room and I scare someone when I started talking, that's funny, but I wouldn't do it on purpose. Let's see. Talking about arranging the composition is enough to make a still life drawing okay. Rearranging, sorry, I didn't read that right. The composition is enough to make the still life drawing yours. What is the key to make the reference look like something new without losing the realism? So in this case, this is not, okay, let's talk about copyright real quick. Let's say I'm obviously changing this. I changed the background. I'm going to put grass and changing it. If I did not have the rights to use this, like, because this one came from a Pixabay, so we're okay. But if I didn't, like if I just found it on the internet, none of these changes are enough to make it mine to where I can just use it. You can never just use someone else's photo that you don't have permission. There's no amount that you can change it enough to make it yours that you can get away with that. So in this case, I go with something that I have rights to use, but I'm making it different. Am I reading that correctly? Hi, Gibson. As far as keeping the realism while I do this, I'm still going by the values will be about the same. Do I really need your face in my face right now? What? I'm sorry, distracted by Greyhound. I don't know if you can see his snoot right now. I'm still going to be using this for the detail of the fur. I'm just going to be adjusting my colors, really are the main thing on the subject. So you can see I pulled purple in the pumpkin instead of leaving it straight white because I need it to pull the colors from the moon. The kitten will need some purple too. I should probably work while I do this so we can at least get the under thing done today. I don't really care if I miss some of these stripes. I can fix that next week with pencil. We just want to get something on everything at this point. But I'm still going to use the detail from the other one in order to keep it looking realistic. I don't know if that answered your question. I got distracted by a greyhound. I apologize. Kim said, with your celiac disease, can you drink wine? I can. Most alcohols, like beer, they even have gluten-free beer now, but most alcohols are like hard liquors you can, most of them, there's at least a version that's like vodka. You have some that's made, well, if it's distilled, some people will argue once it's distilled, it's fine anyway. So I don't know if I'm willing to experiment on that myself, because some people will say, well, how many times can I say some people? Some claim that some people will get more or be more sensitive to where even if it's distilled, they have problems. So I've never been willing to risk it myself because I don't want to be sick for 2 weeks. But it's not like, oh, I don't feel good for one night. It's, I want to die for 2 weeks. So I've not tried those. I just stick with stuff that we know is gluten-free, but there are a lot of gluten-free options. Wine is one of them. Let's see. Casey said, that live is going to be so good. Please let us know as soon as you know so I can clear my night to watch that. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that one, and like I said, it'll be longer because I don't imagine Stacy's going to be a fast painter. And it's not even like I can rush through it. She's got to be able to keep up. So, and I'll warn you right now, I don't know if I can keep her from swearing on. She'll make the attempt not to swear on video, but whether or not that happens, so you may or may not want your kids in the room that night. I'll make sure I warn everyone though, because I don't want to, surprise anyone with a Wisconsin accented swear word. I don't know, I mess up sometimes too. Let's see. Oops, that just scrolled too far. Cheryl said, we have a show here in Canada called Just for Laughs and Gags. It's more the prankster making themselves look like fools to the people being pranked. No scares. See, that I think could be funny. Victor said, I have a question. Pastel with luminance pencils okay on Arches hot press smooth paper. I love your art and haven't tried the pastel pencils on paper like that yet. Thank you. And it wouldn't be my choice. I wouldn't. So if the paper's too smooth, the pastel just doesn't have anything to grip to. So you want something that's a little bit more rough. I'm not saying it can't work. It just wouldn't be my choice. Go ahead and experiment with it. But I would go with either a pastel paper like Handsome E10s would work, or in this case, this is the sanded. This is the Lux Archival, which is like my favorite. That would work. I've heard people like pastel matte quite a bit. I've not tried pastel matte with pastels. I mean, it makes sense that that would work too. I need to try that one of these days. So that one I've not tried yet, but I'm thinking a smooth paper is just, the pastels just won't have that much to grip to. So it's not going to be your best choice. Can you make something beautiful that way? Absolutely. But you'd probably be better off with another paper. Susan said, I put damp kitchen roll under the artwork, keeps the dust out. Oh, that would definitely work. Lori said, I love this piece. Fall is my favorite time of year. Need some flying cows and crows in the clouds. Ooh, oh, that would be cool too. But I'm probably not going to get to that just because, time. I like it though. Sergio said, what is your favorite owl painting or drawing you have produced till now? Mine is definitely the snowy owl with a bouquet winter background. Oh, I don't know. I think one of my favorites is the one, I've used it on cards and everything else. It's got the eagle owl with the airbrush background, and the eagle owl is in colored pencil. He's got that bright orange eye. I really like that one. I also really like when it's in my bedroom. It's got the circles and it's almost rainbow, all the different circles from the bouquet look for the background of the trees. And part of the trees has these bubbles on them instead of leaves, like the branch. And then the owl himself is just black and white. That one I really liked. Celine said there are two in my city. Thankfully they got caught. No, it doesn't help. My house is surrounded by trees. Oh my God, that would make me so nervous. Pretty until the clowns come. Pat said, I can't imagine you swearing. Can't wait. I try not to on video. Celine said, this is not a prank. Yeah, that makes me nervous. That would scare me. Zara said, I think it might be fun to have a pan pastel set that looks like a makeup palette or something. That way you wouldn't have to lug around all those little pieces. Oh, so about that. This is what my pastels are in. So it almost is like a big eyeshadow. Like it's big. It's what, about 11 by 14 inches, and it has a lid over it. So yeah, it's pretty convenient. I love this. And that was also sent to me by Pan Pastel. So if you were buying them, I would definitely recommend that thing. That guy is amazing. So yeah, you guys need to rush Stacy to get her butt down here so we can do that video. But she needs to take her time too, because she's growing a Monstera Albo something Borsia, blah, I can't say it. But a variegated Monstera for me. She got a cutting for me and she's been growing that. So, he won't be ready that soon. It'd be good if she could just, hand deliver him so he arrives safely. Or she. I named her Gwyneth. Most people have no idea what the words I just used were. A handful of plant people did, though. So I'm just using gray. Really, I can come back through here with some browns too, but we'll just kind of map this out, trying to get the white covered, and I'm rushing through this because, we're getting towards the end here. All the details, and even if I miss something here, I'll go over it later. I can go back and forth between the pan pastels and the colored pencil too. It's not even like you can't go back over it. Celine said, what would you do if one broke your window? I'd probably wet myself. I am a big pansy. Everything scares me. So that would probably freak me the heck out. I don't, like, even the thought of them being in the trees, like, freaks me out. Casey said, registered nurse, I'm imagining you and Stacy drunk and you putting on Pan Pastel as makeup or vice versa, painting with makeup. Stacy's good with makeup too. She could get creative there. Wait, are you RN reason or registered nurse? I don't know. I'm wondering if RN stands for something I'm not quite getting, because registered nurse wouldn't fit right there. I think I'm missing what those letters are standing for. Maybe. I'm old. I don't know all the lingo you kids use these days. I warned you he'd be ugly. Aren't you glad? I'm glad I remembered to warn you that, so you guys weren't just like, wow, you did a bad job today, Lisa. Like I was trying to play it off. No, he's supposed to be ugly. I warned you in the beginning he would not look cute today. I'm actually pretty happy with how much we got done on this guy today for that base. So next week we can really start with all the cute little details. Casey said right now. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that because I'm old. Thank you. Josephine said, oh my OMG, just realized I'm a plant person. Because you knew what it was, right? Okay, good. Everyone letting me know right now. And also, you guys are just pointing out that I'm old. Thank you. That everyone knew that except for me. Let's see. Celine said, wetting yourself would not make the clown go away. I don't know. Depends on if one ate asparagus or not. That is gross, Lisa. Why would you say that? Stacy said, get with the times, women. Sorry. Casey said, that explains why you said registered nurse before when you read the rest of the comment. Yeah, after I said it, I realized, wait, that doesn't fit at all. Like half the time I don't understand half the stuff I'm reading. It doesn't, like my brain's not registering it anyway. So yeah, I'm a dork. No one's surprised. This is the lady who can't use pastels because they freak her out, or gloves. No one's surprised. I don't know what words mean. Let's see. DJ said, if you're old, I'm ancient. Okay, so we've got, I'm just going to block in a little bit of brown and orange for the eye. Oh, that's dark. You know, it's something. Your Pennywise eyes are not getting better. Okay. So now I'm just going to quickly go through, actually, let's just smudge some of this. I'm going to go through and just block in a bit of a dark. I'm going to mix black and green because then I can go over with light green on top. But we'll start with just this dark color as our base for what the green will be. Yeah, this brush actually works. No, I'm going to use the larger one that had purple on it. So we'll get some black. I'm going to get some green. And I just want this to kind of fade into that background for now. We'll add details on top. I need it to be darker. And now I'm going way darker than what I want the grass to end up being so that this, what I'm doing now, just like the fur, it's going to be the shadows that shows through the lighter areas. I'm probably going to come back through and darken up some of the fur too. I'm going to come down quite a bit because I'm not sure how far down I want that fur to be. Let's see. Kathleen said, nope, isn't an excuse. I'm 54 and I knew right now. Turned 54 on April 13th. Oh, we have the same birthday. Mine's April 13th too. Ah, you're not helping me. I'm just out of it, apparently. Quite out of the loop. Gail said, I'm so happy you're using the same pastel set I have. Love the Carbothella pastel pencils. And as suggested by Jason Morgan, he is absolutely the best. Yep, he's who I always send people to for, you want pastels. His oil paints and pan pastels, or not pan pastels, just pastels in general are his thing. And oh man, is he good. Let's see. Hello Shiny said, I hate come back. I hate most typing shortcuts and never use them. But RN in from now on, my favorite is registered nurse. Yeah, I'm gonna be using that. It's funny. Oh my gosh. Mercer family said the kitten's giving us the pumpkin and the pumpkin the death stare. Yeah, poor Pennywise kitten. Sharon said, I'm 64 and it made sense to me, but Aussie's abbreviate, I can't read everything. Linda said, just love this. Yay. Haley, I'm going to say that wrong. I'll just say both. One of them has to be right because I can't read. Said, when the clown thing first started, my dad got an old jigsaw mask and a shotgun and went out on the porch at 10 p.m. and rang the doorbell. I opened it very quickly and slammed and locked it. Oh my gosh, that was just mean. Celine said, how old are you? You don't look old. Please tell me. I'm 43. PZ Cherokee said, you should do a monochromatic piece in one color so that people can see the colors don't matter as much as values. Yeah, I mean, and you can do that too. Like I've done it, any black and white piece proves that. Anything in black and white would prove that. So I'm keeping this kind of soft. The harsh lines with the grass will be done with colored pencil. See, I kind of went over his feet too. Just, I have a general idea of where they'll be. I don't think much of his feet will show, but just in case. Haley said, I slammed the door so hard I almost wouldn't open and had to be rehung. Oh my gosh, my mother told me it was my dad after I yelled at her to get the gun and scared the soul out of me. Oh my gosh. I don't like to be like, I don't watch horror movies typically. I don't want like anything super scary. I'm not usually into, but I typically like stuff with good endings, and usually horror movies, not so much. My husband loves them. Luckily, he has no problems going to movies by himself when he wants to go see stuff in theaters. So, yeah, I don't think being scared is fun. It's not something that I enjoy. I'm a big pansy. I'm very much like a greyhound in that, actually. Okay. So that is going to be our base. I may do more on his paw later, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. Blow that off. And then I'm going to lightly this time, because I learned my lesson. Lightly. That's it. And I will probably do a couple of coats like that, but I'm going to let that dry completely. This, again, is the Spectra Fix. I do want multiple coats on that before I move on so that this really seals it down as well as possible. Sarah said, well, I thought you were in your early 30s. Please do your skincare routine. Maybe be a beauty YouTuber can be a side hustle. Oh, thank you. No, you know what it is? It is webcams don't show the wrinkles. My good camera, when I filmed that at the beginning with the Canon M50, oh, you can see my age in that one. Casey said, wait, I can use charcoal with graphite, right? Me realizing I could do the background in charcoal rather than struggling with graphite. You can, but it's obvious. Like it's very obvious one is charcoal because that's going to be very matte. It's going to be black, whereas your graphite, it has more of a gray tint and also tends to be a bit glossier depending on if you burnished it or went over it very much. So I've done things with both. You absolutely can. You may also want to consider it a carbon pencil, but I would go with graphite powder over charcoal. Personally, I like the look better. It's more uniform. But yeah, you can. What do I think about Derwent Studio? I don't know anything about those ones. Linda said, so are you using polychromos over this? I am. Not today. Next week, we're going to start that with the pencils. And actually, while I'm sitting, oh, no, it's dry. I'm probably going to darken a little bit more on the kitten's body with black once this dries, but we can do that next week. But yeah, we're going to be using colored pencil to get all, floating by me, to get all of the details in the pumpkin, the kitten, the grass. We're going to really do a lot with that. And I'll probably do a little bit more work to smooth out some of the sky. I want to put some stars in the sky too. Gail said, you are the same age as my oldest daughter, Carmen. I could come back. I could totally be your mom if you need a stand-in. Good to know. You never know. Multiple moms are good, so this could be good. Sharon said, so that spray is better than brush and pencil fixative. No, it's not. It's different. It depends on what I'm using it for. So the brush and pencil fixative, what is my chair doing? Oh, I need to tighten that screw. The thing your feet go on is like, it's a boat in water. Anyway, the brush and pencil fixative is better for powder blender. When I'm blending with powder blender using colored pencils, that is going to be my go-to. I don't love the brush and like it's not meant for pastels. It can go on pastels, but you get heavier droplets that take a little bit more work to blend out. And so in that case, I like the Spectra Fix better for pastels or for the pan pastels. But when I'm using more with the colored pencil and powder blender products, I do prefer the touch-up texture and the texture fixative for sure, like hands down in that case. So it just depends on what situation I'm using them in. And I'm curious, I wonder, I need to talk to Aliona about that. Like, can we put the texture fixative in this bottle? Or would it get too thick with the air in there? Like, this would be amazing, but I don't know if it would work because of the texture. Let's see, when is my next live stream? Wednesday night, we are going to finish the owl. That will be Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time. And then next Friday for this one will be Friday at 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I don't screw up and put 3 p.m. again. Let's see, no red balloon in the sky. He kind of needs it, doesn't it? But it wouldn't fit. Let's see. What is the spray bottle I'm using? So this spray bottle, it's just a fine mist sprayer. There's two that I've used. This is the one, the Delta Art, so you can see what it looks like. That one, it's an ultra fine mist sprayer. I got this one from Dick Blick, their website. I love it. And then I was also recommended just a regular fine mist sprayer, like the beauty sprayer for hair and stuff from Amazon. And it works too. I think the price was about the same. I don't think I saved anything by doing Amazon versus Dick Blick. But, oh, I will say the Dick Blick one, that thing is firm. This is squishy. So quality, that alone, I'm going to say the Dick Blick one, or the one I got from Dick Blick. It's not actually theirs. It's Delta Artist is probably my preference. That is like firm. This is definitely, I mean, it's probably fine, but it's kind of got a soft body there. That is what I'm using. I put the Spectrafix in it, so it gave me a nice fine mist. And actually, that sat long enough. I can probably do another fine mist. It's way finer. You get a few heavier water droplets or spray droplets, but way less than I got with this. So when I sprayed with the bottle that it comes in, you typically get what we'll get heavier droplets. And that is much finer, which is way better. Why not tomorrow? I love your live streams. Thank you. Because tomorrow is I have to clean the house day. And I'm kind of neurotic about not missing house cleaning day. Like I have to be really sick really sick to miss house cleaning day. So yeah, no live stream tomorrow. Got to clean the house and the studio and paint tomorrow night. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I can, I don't know. I shouldn't make promises. I don't know if I can keep. I was like, maybe I can do a live stream on Instagram tomorrow night. I need to start doing more of those and some Facebook, but I don't think tomorrow will be that night. Let's see. Simon that I keep butchering your name, and I still apologize, said, thank you for the coloring lesson. You helped me get the highest in my art. I can't talk. Let's read that again. Thank you for the coloring lesson. You helped me get the highest in my high school art coursework in my year back in 2017 when I was 16. Now I'm 20. Again, I can't thank you enough. That is so awesome. Yay. Congratulations. Jenny, I'm butchering everybody's name. I'm just going to fail. Most of us Wisconsins have loose tongues when it comes to our second language, swearing too much, gluten-free. Is that what that means? Beer and cheese. My entire home is strict gluten-free. Yeah, my favorite is the accent, and then I put her on speaker. My husband gets a kick out of it because she then starts swearing at him that she does not have an accent, that I have an accent, that Wisconsins don't have accents, and then her accent comes out stronger. It's hilarious. I love her accent. Celine said, why not Sunday? Sunday is supposed to be a day that I get errands and stuff done, but I don't know. It won't be this. If I were to do anything, it would probably be more like a Q&A thing, or while I was just painting whatever I was normally painting. But yeah, I'm not sure what the schedule is going to be. If I did a impromptu live stream, it'd probably be on Instagram, just like a little art chat, hang out with you guys. But yeah, maybe Sunday. I have not done one of those in a long time. Annette said, you can buy the sprayer much cheaper at beauty stores. There you go. Yeah, and that's what that is. I mean, it's the beauty one, but that makes sense. I like it on my plants too. DJ said, that was a great stream, Lisa. Thank you. And thank you to our moderators, Joseph and Nick. Make sure to check out their channels. Links are in the video description. They both have awesome art channels here. And thank them just for helping us. They keep all of the trash from invading the chat. And yeah, I think that is it. We're done. Again, I will warn you, it's going to be ugly. I knew it would. It won't be. He's going to look awesome. We're not going to finish him next week. It'll take at least 2 more sessions to finish this guy, because the fur, I want to put some time, really show you guys how to get kitten fur in whatever medium we're working in. We'll be talking about that, make that look realistic. So, Celine, why not Monday? I see the pattern you're going with here. I will see you guys on, for sure, Wednesday. Yeah, thank you so much for joining. Bye.